Sheikh Yasir, thank you very much for agreeing to do this interview today.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to London. I want to ask you, obviously, about the burning issue of sectarianism that we're experiencing these days. Now, I'm going to get straight into it, ask you a very direct question. I've listened to YouTube interviews that you've given in the past. You've been very critical of Shias. You've used very harsh language against Shias. Do you regret that now?
With regards to the Shias, really they are the most lying sect of Islam. The Shias are allowed to lie, and it's their religion to lie. Wallahi, Shi'ism is filth. I'm saying this to you, Shi'ism is filth. You read their stuff, they allow prostitution, as you know, called mut'ah. You know, they allow lying. They allow so many things that any Muslim is going to reject. They say whoever commits fornication with this type of way, he has guaranteed for himself Jannah. He's going to go to Jannah. The more you fornicate, the more you do mut'ah, and this is the type of fornication which is now prohibited. What is mut'ah? Mut'ah is you go to a woman and you pay her for an hour or two. And when you read their chapters concerning this concept of prostitution, it is so disgusting. I'm even embarrassed to say this to you. You know, I mean, you go and read their books yourself, okay? The Shias to this day, not only do they allow it, they practice it to this day. Of their beliefs is that their 12 imams control the creation. They control the creation. What type of shirk is this? Shirk and rububiyyah. And I have read this in Khomeini's book himself. I read it myself, the Arabic version of Khomeini's book, Al-Hukuma Al-Islamiyya. I read this myself. Okay? That of our beliefs is that the 12 imams, they occupy a station above that of the prophets and messengers and malaika. And our 12 imams control all of creation, and nothing occurs except with the permission of our 12 imams. And they do this and they do that. This is pure shirk, pure blasphemy, and this is why Khomeini, in particular, the ulama of our times pronounce takfir, pronounce kufr on him. This person is not a Muslim, in particular. A person comes to you and accuses your mother of zina. Are you going to love this guy? Are you going to even stand next to him in prayer? If a person accuses your mother of zina, of going out and fornicating with another guy, are you going to love this guy and cooperate with him? This is what the Shias believe. The beliefs of the Shias are beliefs of kufr. So be careful when it comes to that. Long point of the Shias. But the point is, really, the Shias, when you read their beliefs, you can't help but get angry at them. Okay? Really, I get emotional with regards to the Shia, and any Muslim should, wallahi. Any Muslim that knows their beliefs, he should have pure anger and hatred for this.
You've used very harsh language against Shias. Do you regret that now?
What I said about Shias probably around 17, 18 years ago was in fact quite inflammatory and stereotyping an entire segment of people. And yes, I do regret the language that I used. I do regret what I said. And I do believe that I have moved on from that, and I have given enough lectures and videos publicly and interviews which demonstrate that I am now a different person. What I was taught really was a bit of a cut and paste job. So, they'll find one book that has a phrase and they say, oh, all Shiites believe, what is in this book. And it doesn't work that way. When Islamophobes quote even the Quran, and they say, oh, the Quran says slay them wherever you find them, for example. We Muslims get offended, and we should get offended. We say, hold on a sec, there's a context, there's a way to understand it. You don't just take 3 phrases and then, smear an entire religion. Frankly, Sunnis and Shiites, we do the same to each other. And we just take a phrase found in any book, not even the Quran. It's like a book written by a human being. The Quran is from Allah, but we'll take a book written by a human being and then just assume the entire population, out of context, believes in those 3, 4, phrases.
Now, by the way, I'm speaking of the Shia religion based upon certain knowledge. I have their main book called Usul al-Kafi. I have looked over it. I have read their chapters. Okay, I know what the Shias believe. I'm not taking this from what the Shias say.
But I just want to clarify. Are you saying that in your early 20s you got it wrong theologically, or are you just saying that, all right, I'm a bit older now, we should all live together, I haven't changed my theological position, but we should just try and get along?
No, it's a little bit of both, in that there were certain things that I said that, yes, they were wrong theologically, yes. And there are other things that I said that, it lacked wisdom. Like, it doesn't need to be said in the manner that I said it.
And any Muslim should, wallahi, any Muslim that knows their beliefs, he should have pure anger and hatred for this.
I've spoken to Shia scholars about this. They've acknowledged that there are extremists on both sides, but what they say is, comparing anti-Sunni rhetoric coming from Shias to anti-Shia rhetoric coming from Sunnis is a bit like comparing anti-black racism with anti-white racism. They're just not on the same level at all.
I don't feel qualified to comment on that. Just because Shiites are statistically a minority, I don't know if it's fair to portray them as being the underdog all the time. I mean, the type of inflammatory language that I have heard myself, online from certain clerics, and here's the problem: the average Sunni will not differentiate between an extremist Shiite cleric and a moderate Shiite cleric, right? That's the problem I need to educate. But there are extremist Shiite clerics online and here in London and others. Their rhetoric is simply vulgar. It's beyond what is even decent and normal, right?
People like Yasir Qadhi.
I didn't want to mention his name, but if you mention his name, that's definitely the number one example that comes to my mind.
Can I ask you a very direct question? Theologically, do you consider Shias to be Muslim?
Anybody who says La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah and prays and has a religiosity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the love of the messenger, I consider him to be a Muslim, unless and until something comes from this person that clearly negates a very basic understanding of Islam.
Of their beliefs is that their 12 imams control the creation. They control the creation. What type of shirk is this? Shirk and rububiyyah.
So, generally speaking, any group, Sunni or Shia, who says La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah and has worship basically of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and an acceptance of Muhammad sallallahu as the messenger, this person is a Muslim unless and until something comes that negates that Islam. And therefore, in my estimation, and I've said this many times, we accept all people who say the kalima and show signs of religiosity, unless and until something comes that negates that.